Good. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to start our equation solving for y. This will become really important when we start graphing our linear equations. We're going to want to put our equations in this form, y equals mx plus b. In this case, b is going to be your constant or your number. And m is just going to be the coefficient on the x. Eventually that will stand for slope, but we'll talk about that as we move forward. We want to isolate this y here, which means we have to move anything not directly attached. We need to move this 3x. We look in front of it to plus. The opposite of plussing is to minus. And what you do to the left, you do to the right. Again, you may want to have up that wall. If that makes you feel better, that's perfectly fine. Opposites cancel. We're left with just y, which is what we want. We want it in this form, so we want the x term first, and then the number. Okay, you guys give number 2 a try. Again, keys are in Schoology, so you can give it a try and take a look, see how you did. Same process here. We want to isolate the y. We're going to look in front. We need to move anything not directly attached to it, so we need to move this 3x. The opposite of a plus is a minus. Opposites cancel. Now be real careful here when you bring down the y. You need to make sure that negative stays with it. And we want the x term first, and then the number. Okay, but I'm not interested in negative y. I'm interested in positive y. So we're going to go ahead and divide this entire equation through by -1 to change the signs. And when we do that, it changes the signs for all 3 terms. So when you divide all 3 terms. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. A negative divided by a negative again is a positive. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. Okay. We've got 2 here. I'm going to work with you before it's your turn. We want to isolate this y, so we're going to move anything not directly attached. So the 2 is being multiplied to the y. I'm not going to touch any of that right now. I'm going to move this 6x term. We look in front, there's a plus. The opposite of plussing is to minus. And again, what you do to the left, you want to make sure you do the same thing to the right. Opposites cancel. We get 2y's equal to minus 6x. You want to put that x term first, plus 12. I'm not interested in 2y. I'm interested in y. So I'm going to take this entire equation and divide it through by 2. 2 divided by 2 is y. And we have our equals. -6 divided by 2 is -3x. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to isolate the y. So we're going to move anything not directly attached to it through multiplication. We need to move the 6x term over to the other side. We look in front, there's a minus. The opposite of minusing is to plus. These guys cancel. We're left with 9y equals, and we put the x term up front. Again, we're not interested in 9y, we're interested in y, so we're going to divide all the terms through by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. Y should be by itself. 6 divided by 9, it doesn't go in evenly. We need to get a corrected reduced fraction. That's going to reduce to 2/3 x. Please no decimals. We need to have a fractional answer here. And 11 is not divided by 9 either, so we're just going to leave it as 11/9. So if you get these wonky kind of fractions here, it's fine. Just leave them as they are, but if they can be reduced, you should. All right, you give it a try with number 7 over there. So let's try again. I need to get to the y, so I'm going to leave this term here. We're going to move this 3x. We look in front, it's a plus. The opposite of plussing is to minus. What you do to the left, we do to the right. Opposites cancel. Left with minus 5y. The equal sign, x term first. We're not interested in y. We're interested not in -5y, just y itself. So we're going to divide everything through, all 3 terms, by -5. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is a positive 1, leaving us with just y, which is what we want. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 3 over 5 cannot be divided, cannot be reduced, so we just leave it as 3 over 5x. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. I wrote a plus, so let's get rid of that plus. So that is definitely a negative. Again, that can't be divided or reduced, so we're just going to leave it as minus 12 over 5. All right, you try number 9. Same process here. I'm going to go ahead and move over this 7x. Let me put a wall up for this one. Okay, so I need to get to this y. We're going to move the x term first. The opposite of minusing is to plus. These cancel out. That negative needs to move down. So make sure it all moves down together, the entire term. X term in front. And then the 18. These are not like, so they cannot be combined. We're interested in just y, so we're going to have to divide everything through by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a positive y. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. That's just going to be left as 7 over 2. Doesn't go in evenly and cannot be reduced. A positive divided by a negative is another negative. And 18 divided by 2 is 9. Okay, your turn number 11. Again, you can pause the video and then you can go ahead and check your answers. Just like when we're solving equations for this problem here, the first thing you need to do is break down those parentheses through distribution. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 plus 3y is minus 6y. That's going to equal 18. Now this looks kind of like the equations that we did before. We want to get to this y, so we're going to move the x term. We look in front, there's a minus. The opposite of minusing is to plus. And a lot of you like to have the wall up. Perfectly fine. Opposites cancel. Make sure you're bringing down the minus 6y. Don't leave the negative dangling up there. X term first, then the number. We're interested in positive y, so we need to divide everything through by negative 6. A negative divided by a negative is a positive y. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 2 over 6 reduces to 1 over 3x. And then a positive divided by a negative is again a negative. But 6 does go into 18 and it goes in 3 times. So just solving for y. Okay, this is kind of the same thing. Just got like an extra x term hanging around. First thing you do is the distribution. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times y is 5y. Equals, and we did nothing to the right side, so just recopying it. I need to get that y term by itself. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and move this x term. We look in front, there's a plus. The opposite of plussing is to minus. Since there is an x term over here, we're going to line them up. Opposites cancel, bringing down the 5y. I do want the x term in front, so I'll deal with the x's first. There's 5 negatives, 3 positives, 2 cancel out, leaving us with negative 2x. So we took care of that. They don't cancel out, they just kind of combine up. And over here, we get the plus 20. To get to the 5, we need to divide everything through by just 5. So 5 divided by 5 gets us 1, so just y. Negative 2 divided by 5, can't do anything with that, so we just leave it as a fraction. Positive 20 divided by 5 is 4. All right, and you can try number 15. I've got one more example for you. All right, so looking at this here, I know I need to get my y term over to the left side, and I see y terms on both sides. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and subtract that y over. I look in front, there's a plus. The opposite of plussing is to minus. These guys cancel. Positive 5, negative 2 leaves us with positive 3y plus 8. We didn't do anything with that 8 yet. Minus 3x plus 5. Now we got to get this 8 over to the other side. So I'm looking to isolate the y term. We look in front, there's a plus. The opposite of plussing is to minus. All right, so we're left with 3y on the left, getting closer. Negative 3x has nothing, doesn't combine with these numbers. That's going to leave us with negative 8, positive 5. Let's see, negative 3. We want to get to just y, so we're going to divide all three terms by 3. And we get y is equal to minus x minus 1. All right, and that is how we solve for y. Thanks for listening. Bye.